Okay, so we've pretty much set up the boots and mirrored the skin weights across. Obviously, as you finesse, spend a bit more time painting the skin weights. This is quite a quick sort of overview of the skin weighting process. In this video, I'll look at applying the initial skin weights to the rest of the geometry. Okay, so let's kind of do it in order. Let's work. I'll just hide the beard for now. Okay, and let's just hide the body. Right. Until we set up the face rig, the eyes will be skinned to the head, so whenever we move the head joint, the eyes and also the glasses will go with it. Okay, so select the geometry, select the joint, which is just the head joint, skin, smooth bind, selected joints. Now, because you've only got one joint that's influencing, we don't need geodesic. Let's just do closest distance. That's fine. Let's apply that and just check. So yes, when I move that joint, the glasses go. Okay. Let's do the eyes. Select the geometry and apply. So the eyes go as well, and so they were easy because they are just geometry skinned to one joint. Okay, let's do the head. So the head is obviously going to be influenced by the head joint. I've got also two neck joints, but also for stability, to keep it anchored down, we also want it skin weighted to the chest joint as well, so that when this neck joint moves, then these verts are anchored to the chest. Okay, so we want the head, and don't forget, I always work down the hierarchy: the neck, the two neck joints, and the chest. And this time let's do geodesic. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're going to go and refine the skin weights anyway. Let's bind, select the geometry, bind skin, and there we have it. Okay, so there's a lot of crushing of the head at the moment, and if I select the geometry paint skin weights tool, let's just select the head. You can see it's hardly grey, which essentially means that there's hardly any influence, so that's why you get a lot of that crunching. So you can see sometimes that initial skin weighting is not particularly great, and it does need a lot of extra painting. Okay, now let's do the arms. Okay, what I can do is go and select each joint individually, work my way up, or I can choose the upper arm. I still want the upper arm part of the skin in because the bicep will be sort of anchored to the upper arm. If I select both of those, and I've got a shortcut for select hierarchy, you can go edit, select hierarchy, so it's selected both chains. However, I don't want the end ones, so let's shift and deselect those. Let's, in the outliner, let's choose the end, just to make sure. Okay. So thumb. So you can see I often use the outliner all the time when I'm when I'm rigging, it's just much easier to see everything. Okay, so they're just the joints I've selected and deselected the end joints. Shift select the geometry, skeleton, skin, bind skin. It pretty much keeps your defaults, bind skin, and there we go, that's that done. So if I check, you can see it's moving the geometry when I move the finger. Okay. Another indication that it's skinned correctly is it will lock the transforms of your geometry, and you will get the extra skin cluster node to say that it has skin applied to it. Okay. If you do get yourself in trouble, I often find the easiest way is to delete history of the geometry, and it'll reset everything back to how it was. Okay, so just as I've got a delete history shortcut, so click on that, and as you can see, it's unlocked the transforms and got rid of the skin cluster. Okay, so that's if you get into Strife, you can always delete history and it'll restore your model. Okay, so I'll just undo that. Okay, let's just bend the elbow. So it's not too bad, but we'll need to go in and do some refinements. Don't forget that once you've done one side, then you can mirror the geometry, mirror the skin weights, and that will work absolutely fine. So work your way through selecting the joints. Finally, let's just unhide the body. So I can, for the body itself, select the main root joint, which is our cog joint, okay, and select hierarchy. So that's press F, and that's everything selected. Okay. Now, we then just need to work out what joints we don't need. So for the body, right up to the collar, I'll probably still need the first neck, but I don't need the second neck onwards. I think only that first neck joint will be influencing. So let's deselect the head end, the head, and the neck mid, but keep that first neck. Okay. Now, I don't want the from the elbow down. Probably, I don't think the elbow is going to influence the shirt sleeve. So let's just say elbow. Deselect all those using Control. Okay. And same for the right hand side. Okay. Then so I've just I also don't need the clavicle end joints either. These joints are just there to purely show the direction of the clavicle. I'm not actually going to be using them for skinning. It's the clavicle and the upper arm. So I've deselected the clav ends. Okay, and then working our way down. Will the ankle influence? I doubt it. That he's got quite high trousers, so I don't think the ankle will influence it. So let's get rid of, deselect the toe end, the toe, and the ankle. Okay. All right. So they're the joints selected. Shift select the geometry, skin, smooth bind, selected joints, and bind skin. All right. So I will show it is quite easy to add influencers and remove influencers if you so you don't have to be if you go wrong with the influencing and what joints you selected, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of remove them, and it's quite versatile. Okay, so that's the initial application of the skin. So if I move the leg, obviously there's a lot of crunching in there, so it will need painting skin weights. If I rotate, so it's the clavicle, it's pulling away under here, which I don't particularly want. So there's a fair amount of skin weighting to do, but that is ultimately how you start the initial skin weighting.